Hello, welcome to my workshop. It's so great seeing you all. Let me start by telling you the story of one of my clients. Let's call her Andrea. That's not her true name, but for privacy reasons, let's call her Andrea. Andrea is a very successful leadership trainer for 25 years. And I know her quite well, and I think she's one of the smartest people I've ever met. Every year, she offers a 9-day leadership retreat for her clients, and every year she struggles to find enough participants. In the end, she always lets people participate for free, so she doesn't have to cancel it for the maybe 1 or 2 paying clients she got. And she called me in October for a coaching to tell me that she again didn't have enough people to join her with this seminar. And she confessed that she didn't market it at all. And when I asked why, then she said she needed the perfect marketing strategy. And she was scared that whatever she had to say about this retreat would be too trivial, too banal. I asked her, okay, so what do your participants from past years say about the seminar and the results of it? And she said they would say it's life-changing. And she told me a couple of examples why it is life-changing, and I had to say it truly is. So I didn't see why she couldn't market it, but of course it's logosynthesis, it's a coaching, we have to dig deeper, and we came to her position in her family and somehow in the order of her siblings, where she was the oldest. She had made herself the victim of her circumstances, how we called it in the seminar. We worked on this with logosynthesis, resolved this belief, and afterwards she was open for my recommendations as a sales trainer or sales expert. And it was quite easy. I mean, she's on the market for 25 years. She has these very great testimonials, life-changing only being one of them. Why not just write to all the clients and tell them, just let you know, I have this seminar, these are the feedbacks I got so far, would you be interested to participate? And of course, because it was very late in the year and only 1 month until the seminar started, she didn't get a lot of clients, but she got some, and she got some that want to participate next year, so she already has a waiting list for next year. It was a good result, but it wasn't easy to get there. I'm Franziska Brandt-Biesler. I don't know why I have to pronounce my name in English. Actually, it's Franziska Brandt-Biesler because I'm German. I'm living in Spain. I'm in the logosynthesis community for 10 years now, started my basic seminar almost exactly 10 years ago. Now I'm a master practitioner and instructor in logosynthesis. And also I'm a sales trainer and coach for 25 years. I'm working with companies mainly, but through logosynthesis I found a new way of working with both things, with logosynthesis and sales, and that is mainly with self-employed coaches, consultants, trainers, so colleagues. And we can work with both things, with their questions about sales, about marketing, and as well with the blogs they have about this. And this is what I want to talk about today as well, about the blogs I find the most. I will give you 3 examples of course, there are a lot more, but I give you the 3 most typical blogs I find when it comes to sales. I give you time to reflect on this because I will give you examples to what can it lead to, and you can just go with it and see if it's something you feel as well, Then when you're there, when you might be activated, we do logosynthesis on this belief. And then afterwards, I have some practical tips. And we do this 3 times. If you didn't do logosynthesis before, I will give you a couple of ideas how to use it, not the theory about logosynthesis. You will have to look that up somewhere else, or maybe watch some of the other workshops that are recorded. And I know for sure that there's one about the basics about logosynthesis. I think you should see that for sure. But for now, it's good enough that you just join us and just do what I'm telling you. You don't have to understand how logosynthesis works. You will notice it does. So let's start with the first belief. The first belief is, I'm not good enough. That's the one I hear the most. I'm not good enough. What I have to say is not important enough, not interesting, helpful, new, revolutionary, useful, whatever. The list is endless. Everything is just not enough. And if you think about clients that are as educated and experienced as you, that would be true. So if you see it through your lens, you're right. It's not very new what you say, because you know it already. And there might be some people out there that think the same. But I assume the people that come to ask for your help are not where you are. So you have enough to say. But still you might feel that way. And what that leads to is not going out. You might not be visible enough, or not visible at all in the internet where marketing happens today. I met people that worked on their website forever, and it was never good enough, and something was missing, and they had to change some texts here, and the photos weren't right, and so on and so forth, and the web page was never ready to go out there. And the same with social media marketing, post, reels, whatever. They never could do it because it wasn't perfect enough. And that's the same with my colleague Andrea and her retreat. They are waiting for the perfect marketing strategy, and you might as well if you feel that way. Or it might lead to hiding behind flowers and cans. You know, these little towers of pebbles, beautiful photographs in beautiful landscapes. Have you seen how many websites of coaches are packed with these, and then with beautiful flowers and some landscapes? But I can't see the face of the coach somewhere, or I have to look really hard. And then on the last page, on the contact page, I find a tiny little portrait of the person, which is the thing, the product that I'm buying. So I want to see it, of course. And you might also hide behind creative brand names. And also, there are loads and loads of brand names out there. And I started the same. I had a brand name. My clients didn't even know my brand name. When they talked about they didn't talk about training basics, which was my first idea how I should call my company. They talked about Franziska or Franziska Brandt-Biesler. And that's the same, I guess, with all the brand names when there's only one person hiding behind this brand name. They don't know it, they don't care for it, they care for you. And the third thing might be that you don't start at all. And that's also something I see over and over again. Colleagues that want to start as coaches, that want to be self-employed, maybe only part-time, but they don't start because they always think, I still don't know enough. I need to learn more. I need more diploma, I need more titles, and they collect them. And the next title will be the one that finally, eventually makes them believable enough to go out there. If that is something you know and something that is activated in you now, we are ready to work. If you have never done logosynthesis, I will explain to you what you have to do now. I will give you 3 sentences. I give them to you in parts. You will repeat the part after me loud, say it loud. And then after the sentence is finished, you just wait and see what happens. You don't have to do anything and you don't have to understand what you just said. Don't even think about it. You can read about this afterwards. Because this meeting is recorded, I will not make a huge pause after the sentence. You can stop the recording for the time you need. And if you notice something shifted, something changed, then you can continue and the next sentence will follow. All in all, there are 3 sentences. Before we start, go back to this belief. I am not good enough, and whatever that means for you. Maybe the sentence is a bit different for you, but it would be helpful if it's a belief. How do you feel when this belief comes up? What happens in your body? Are there any images coming up? Body sensations? Maybe you hear a voice that says, "You're not good enough. I am not good enough." And if you feel that this belief is really activated in you, ask yourself, how stressful is this? 0 being not stressful at all, 10 being the maximum stress possible. Maybe put down that number or just memorize it for the moment. And now I give you the first sentence. I retrieve all of my energy, bound up in this belief that I'm not good enough, and I take it to the right place in myself. Now let it work. And press pause. I give you the second sentence. I remove all non-me energy related to this belief that I'm not good enough from all of my cells, my bodies and my personal space, and I send the energy to where it truly belongs. Again, let it work and pause. I give you the third sentence. I retrieve all of my energy, bound up in all my reactions, to the belief that I'm not good enough, and I take it to the right place in myself. Again, let it work, press pause, and start when you're ready. Okay, drink some water and notice how stressful the belief is now. I am not good enough. Say it again, you can say it out loud. And then write down the first number that comes up when you ask yourself, how stressful is this? 0, not stressful at all. 10 being maximally stressful. And if the number went down, which most of the time will happen, then I have some very practical solutions for you, and now you might be open for them. First is start somewhere, anywhere. It doesn't have to be perfect. That is, start with your marketing strategy somewhere, anywhere. Post something out. It should be something useful, but useful for someone that is much less experienced than you. Think of you 10 years before and what you would have loved to know. And then post it. Doesn't have to be perfect. And it's the same with starting your business as a coach, a therapist, a consultant. Just start, get clients. Maybe they don't pay much. Maybe they're even free in the beginning. Get experience. And that's the next important thing. Get real experiences with real clients, not only the ones you meet in the logosynthesis seminars, because as you know, we are all luxury clients, and it's way easier to work with us. So get real clients, learn what it takes to work with them, and most of all, get real stories to tell and collect feedbacks to share. If something great happens, that's a story you can tell, and then you don't have to brag about yourself. Just let your clients speak about how great you are. Next thing, and I also already mentioned it, market your face and your name. Don't hide behind brand names and flowers. People buy you, your face, your input, your name. They want to know who you are. Show to them. And then write and tell and film useful stuff, useful content, whatever. And it can be quick and dirty. I have seen some very simple videos of people holding their phones in front of them, shaking a bit, but the content was so good that I still watched them. There's some guy out there taking his phone whenever he's walking the dog. And I watch that because it's really useful content he gives me. So do it like this, do it better, but don't let yourself be stopped by wanting to be too perfect. Next thing is build up a list, and that is my most valuable marketing tool, is my list, my newsletter list, my newsletter subscribers. I have 800 plus now. I used to have more, was very lazy the last couple of years, to be honest, but I could afford it after 25 years. So I lost some of them. Now we are back, and I'm posting once a month a new blog article, and then some posts twice a week. Very simple for me, but that's another topic. I won't go into this. Build up such a list. Try to get the addresses of all your participants, of all your coachees, of people you know, and mail to them, because that is something you can control. Let's go to the next belief. That's something I hear all the time. I am not a salesperson. And of course, people tell me that all the time because I am a salesperson and I'm a sales trainer and expert. I've written a couple of books about sales. So people assume, and I think they're right, that I know some things about sales. And especially coaches tell me all the time, oh, I wish I was more of a salesperson. At the same time, I know that they don't mean it, because they think very bad things about salespeople. So when you think that way, and you still need to sell your services because you're self-employed, or you want to be self-employed, so you need clients, you need to lead sales conversations, what happens? It might be that you feel very bad when you have a sales conversation. Let's say someone comes to you through a lead, through a recommendation, and now you have to talk to them to convince them that you're the right person to work with. And you might feel bad all the time while you're doing this, because you think you should do something that salespeople do, whatever that is, and you don't, because you're not a salesperson, and that's not a very good atmosphere and situation to be in when you want to convince someone. Or you might even really be bad in a sales conversation because you try to do things that you think salespeople should do. And that is bragging and talking all the time, talking about you. Many people think that good salespeople are good talkers. They are not, by the way, but I will tell you that later. And you might try to convince someone that isn't convinced yet, and maybe you even try out some tricks or shady methods that you've heard of. And if you're not convinced of this, you will not do it full-heartedly, and then it will be even worse. So everybody feels bad in this kind of conversation. What it leads to most is that people don't do sales at all. They avoid all sales activities. And I'm not saying that if you're a coach and you market to private people or a therapist, that you should call people. That's not how things work. If you're marketing to private people, your main marketing tool is the internet, social media, and so on and so forth. But you might still have to call someone that was mentioned to you, or you got a lead somewhere and then you don't dare to call them, or maybe you do some marketing activities because you're marketing to companies and then you write them, but you never follow up, you never call them because you're scared to do that. Doing A but not B seldomly works. I get loads and loads of direct mails through LinkedIn, for example, which I never reply to. Would someone call me and they had a good offer? I think I would listen, and it happened before, but no one does. So this is things that happen when you think you're not a good salesperson. Do you think that about yourself? By the way, someone asked me, can beliefs be negative? I'm not a good salesperson. Yes, they can, because you think exactly that way. You don't think some complicated stuff to avoid the not. No, you think I'm not a salesperson, so we work exactly with that belief. And that's what we are doing now. Think about it again. I'm not a salesperson, but I should do something to sell my services. I should do marketing. I should call someone, and I don't feel well when I do this, or I feel bad in a sales conversation. When you think that, how is your stress level? 0 to 10. Write it down. And now I give you the first sentence. I retrieve all of my energy, bound up in the belief that I am not a salesperson, and I take it to the right place in myself. Let it work and press pause. I give you the second sentence. I remove all non-me energy related to this belief that I'm not a salesperson from all of my cells, my bodies and my personal space. And I send the energy to where it truly belongs. I give you the third sentence. I retrieve all of my energy, bound up in all my reactions, to the belief that I'm not a salesperson, and I take it to the right place in myself. drink some water if you have it. I'll do too. Because all this talking makes me really thirsty. Notice how your stress level is now and write it down. And when it went down, it's wonderful. If it didn't or not enough for your taste, there might be more to look into it. I still give you some practical solutions, or in this case, the practical solution about how to be a good salesperson. Because if you're a good coach, therapist, consultant, whatever, you manage the most important skill of a good salesperson, and that is listening. And believe me, I do this job for 25 years. This is what I have to work on the most with my participants, with these real salespeople in seminars and workshops. They don't listen well. They don't ask questions, and let alone opening questions. So listening is the most important skill. And why is that? Because here's a sentence that I found when I wrote my first book, and it's true for me ever since. What is selling? How does selling work? In my opinion, selling is easy. Two people find out if it's sensible to do business together, period. I say that again. Two people find out if it's sensible to do business together, period. That means listen, find out if you honestly can be of service, explain how, and then let them decide. That's sales, not more, not less. Of course, there's some more to it, or I would be unemployed. But if you only don't know that, listen, find out, explain how you do it, let them decide, you're fine. You will be fine. So let's go to the third and last belief I'm talking about today, and that is, I'm not worth the money. Or you could put in an amount, the fee per hour you have, or whatever. I'm not worth it, or the amount of money someone told me you should charge. And I mean that in the truest sense of the word. We are talking money here. I know so many coaches, trainers even, that charge too little, way too little, and way too little for their experience and the work they put in to knowing all this that they are knowing. I was lucky. I was working with lots of trainers that charged way more than me. And they always told me, you need to charge more. And even if I didn't dare to go to their amount of money because I didn't have their experience, it always let me have quite good amounts or quite good prices. So I was lucky this way. And you could too listen to people that charge enough. The next thing could be that you're only addressing clients that cannot afford to pay enough so you can make a living, because that's what it's about. You need to make a living. You need to earn enough money. It's not a hobby what you're doing. It's a profession, and a profession should pay your bread and butter. And the third thing that happens all the time when you are doubting your fees is that you're not raising prices forever. And maybe your fee was good 10 years ago, but if you didn't raise it for ages, it will not be enough anymore, because we all live in inflation. So these are all things that should be addressed. And they're important to address, because you want to do this job for a long time and you need to pay your rent or your mortgage or whatever. If you feel activated by now, you know the drill, go into it. I'm not worth the money. Or you might change this belief to what you are not worth to regarding to money. Change it so it fits you. And then What is your stress level? 0 to 10. Write it down. And I give you the first sentence. I retrieve all of my energy, bound up in the belief that I'm not worth the money. And I take it to the right place in myself. I give you the second sentence. I remove all non-me energy related to the belief that I'm not worth the money from all of my cells, my bodies and my personal space. And I send the energy to where it truly belongs. Let it work and press pause. Here's the third sentence for you. I retrieve all of my energy, bound up in all my reactions, to the belief that I'm not worth the money, and I take it to the right place in myself. Drink some water, and then ask yourself again, what's my stress level now? Especially when it comes to money, there might be a lot more to work on. Beliefs, your family field around money. I had to work a lot on money, and I'm not 100% sure if there's not more, but I feel so different about money and so at ease about money now. So it might be worth to look into it more. But here for now are my practical solutions. Don't start to raise prices with your existing clients, because that's the hardest thing to do. I know that myself. Start with new clients. Whenever you get a new client, charge them your new fee. Of course, you have to say it out loud when they ask you, how much is it when I'm working with you? And you have to get used to it. I know that also because I rose prices over time, several times. And for the first couple of times, it feels funny. Just stick to it. Don't worry, after you've said it, I don't know, 5 or 10 times, you will feel normal. This is your new normal price. And especially if you notice that people are accepting it. And they will, believe me. Next thing that helped me immensely is write a price list and stick to it. I had a price list that I even could hand out to clients if they wanted to, but you don't have to. It's enough if you have it for yourself, but then do what's written on there and don't doubt it and don't negotiate with yourself. That's a very helpful tool. You might need to find a mix of so-called cash cows, people that pay well. That's companies for me. I charge double the amount when I work for a company than I charge for a private paying person. It might be that you have some wealthy clients to be able to afford to have some normal clients as well. And then you might even have some charity clients. What I don't do anymore is I don't work for free, because I notice people think it's exactly worth what you pay. And if you don't pay anything, it's not worth anything. Although I know it's the opposite. I'm still good when I'm working for free, but something happens when people don't pay for something. So what I do is I ask them to pay what they can. And I had a client that paid 30 euros an hour for a very long time because he was unemployed and he couldn't afford me, but I had the feeling that he really needed me. So we had this deal. And then when he got a job, he paid my normal fee, and he was so happy to be able to do this. And I was happy as well, of course, because I rather earn more money than less. But that might be something to do, or I heard of colleagues that have a limited amount of free places. They work pro bono. Do whatever you can, whatever you want. But I think if you're able to do some less paying clients is a very nice thing, but you need good paying clients in order to do this. You might have to offer different services. So for me, that's sales workshops. I do them online. Meanwhile, I used to do them offline. So I went somewhere for 1 or 2 days and I earned a truckload of money with that. I'm bragging. But nevertheless, maybe you can offer workshops. Maybe you can offer logosynthesis seminars for beginners, or you can start to become a trainer. It's enough to be an instructor to be able to do open seminars for self-coaching with logosynthesis, for example. So there might be things you can teach to people to earn more money. Think about a variation of services. I know very little people that are really earning money just doing coaching to private paying people. Then raise prices moderately but regularly. Maybe do it once a year. With every change of the year, you change your prices a little, 2-3%, maybe 5%. It might be 10 euros per hour, for example, and your clients will go with it without a problem if you do it regularly. If you wait too long and then you have to raise prices very drastically, that might lead to problems. And I had this problem with my hairdresser because she remembered suddenly that she hadn't risen her prices for 10 years, and suddenly she wanted 50% more. And although it's still not a huge lot of money, I was angry with her, and I'm looking for a new hairdresser at the moment. Maybe I will go back to her, but still I didn't like the way that she presented this to me. And that's the last tip. If you have existing clients, talk to them, negotiate with them, find a solution, because I think it's not okay to just present them with a huge jump and you will lose clients over that. But I had the experience when I go to them and say, listen, I raised, I don't know, my prices over the years, and my new clients pay this, but you only pay this, and we need a solution for this. So what do you suggest? Most of the time we meet at the middle or even a bit more, but then they have a choice and we can do it together. And I never had a client that said, no, I will not pay more. And if so, then maybe it's not a good client for you. So these were my practical tips. If all this helped you, and most important, if your stress levels went down, I want to give you the last logosynthesis sentence to let all this sit even better in you. So repeat after me. I attune all of my systems to this new awareness. I say that again. I attune all of my systems to this new awareness. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching this recording. If you want to get in touch with me, just use my name, Franziska Brandt-Biesler, because my website, either just Google me, you will find me, or go to my website, and that's www.franziskabrandtbiesler, one word without anything between it, .com. There's a website in English and there's also one in German. Get in touch with me. I'm also available on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So, and I have a very nice YouTube channel, by the way. You will also find that when you put in my name. There's quite a lot of videos on there. So have a look, get in touch, and see you soon.